Can Novak Djokovic win one last Grand Slam as new era of tennis arises with battle of Sinner and Alcaraz? Jannik Sinner's rise to the top of men's tennis has been as rapid as it has been relentless. Over the past 2 seasons, the 23-year-old Italian has gone from a talented outsider to the player everyone else measures themselves against. In 2024 he broke through with his first Grand Slam title at the Australian Open, rallying from 2 sets down to beat Daniil Medvedev in a 5-set epic. That victory was more than just a maiden major, it was a statement that a new force had arrived. Since then, he has continued to collect big titles, proving that his success in Melbourne was no one-off. Sinner's fiercest rival in this new era has been Carlos Alcaraz, and their duels have already become the sport's most compelling storyline. They have split major finals across the last 2 seasons in a back-and-forth that has kept fans on the edge of their seats. At Roland Garros in 2025, Alcaraz produced one of the great comebacks in tennis history, saving 3 championship points to beat Sinner in nearly 6 hours, the longest French Open final ever played. Barely a month later, Sinner returned the favor on the grass of Wimbledon, defeating Alcaraz in 4 tightly contested sets to claim his first title at the All England club and his 4th major overall. Their rivalry is already drawing comparisons to Federer versus Nadal for its contrasting styles, shifting momentum, and sheer drama. Into this mix comes Novak Djokovic, who has dominated the sport for well over a decade but is now grappling with the realities of age. At 38, the Serbian legend remains one of the most dangerous competitors on tour, but his battle to recover between matches has become harder. He withdrew from the Cincinnati Open to protect himself for the US Open, admitting that against the likes of Sinner and Alcaraz he often feels as though he is going into the match with the tank half empty. For someone who built his career on physical dominance, that is an unusually candid admission, and it fuels speculation that the changing of the guard may finally be underway. Former Wimbledon champion and Djokovic's longtime coach Goran Ivanisevic has added his own intriguing take on the current landscape. He believes that right now only Djokovic has the tools to seriously challenge Sinner and Alcaraz. Daniil Medvedev, though, is not ready to be counted out. The Russian, who has been a fixture in the world's top 5 for much of the last 5 years, insists that the current duopoly is not unbreakable. Never underestimate a third guy who is going to come and challenge them, with his record against both players making him a threat. Medvedev remains one of the few active players with major wins over both Sinner and Alcaraz, and his tactical intelligence and awkward playing style mean he cannot be overlooked. Yet the numbers make it clear just how much the balance of power has shifted. Sinner and Alcaraz have combined to win the last 7 Grand Slam titles, a stretch of dominance not seen since the prime years of the Big Three. They push each other to new heights, blending explosive shot-making with remarkable mental resilience, and their matches often feel like previews of where the sport is headed. Each time they meet, the conversation about who is truly the best in the world shifts slightly, and with every major final they contest, their rivalry grows in weight and history. For Djokovic, the challenge is to manage his body well enough to have one more deep run at a slam and perhaps spoil the Sinner-Alcaraz narrative. For Medvedev, it is about breaking the stranglehold they have on the biggest prizes. And for the rest of the field, players like Alexander Zverev, Taylor Fritz, and Jack Draper, the task is finding a way to consistently compete with the sheer pace, power, and precision the two leaders bring to the court. So far, no one outside the top 4 has managed to do it over the course of an entire tournament. What makes this moment in tennis so intriguing is that it feels both like a fresh beginning and the continuation of a long legacy. The age of Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic set an almost impossible standard, but Sinner and Alcaraz are meeting it in their own way that is youthful, fearless, and unrelenting. Theirs is a rivalry built for the modern game with aggressive baseline exchanges, punishing physical demands, and the ability to turn defense into attack in a single shot. It is a style that leaves little room for error, which is why matches between them feel like they are played on a knife edge. As the US Open approaches, the storylines are already written. Can Sinner back up his Wimbledon triumph with another slam? Will Alcaraz find a way to reassert himself as the alpha in their rivalry? Can Djokovic conjure one more magical fortnight? And will Medvedev disrupt the script altogether? Whatever happens, men's tennis finds itself in a rare and precious position with 2 young champions pushing each other higher, a living legend still in the mix, and a chasing pack desperate to break through. It is a recipe for a historic tournament, and perhaps an era that fans will remember for decades.